November 8, 2016, 8 p.m. An announcement by Prime Minister Narendra Modi would change the way we look at the money.
8 नवंबर 2016 की रात्रि को 12 बजे से वर्तमान में जारी 500 रुपए और 1000 रुपए के करेंसी नोट लीगल टेंडर नहीं रहेंगे।
A move which aimed at transforming the way money circulated that sometimes changed hands beyond checks and balances. With the demonetization of rupees 500 and rupees 1000 currency notes, nearly 86% of the total 17.8 trillion worth currency in circulation was withdrawn. The decision had immediate effects, witnessed outside the banks and ATMs across the cities. The hardships and chaos faced by public soon found its way into the politics. Parliament witnessed sharp exchanges and a long debate in both the houses. The debate was settled by Prime Minister Modi himself.
क्योंकि ये लोग ऐसे हैं कि जिनके खिलाफ हमने एक स्वर से लड़ना ही पड़ेगा। ईमानदार व्यक्ति को ताकत तब तक नहीं मिलेगी जब तक कि बेईमानों के प्रति कठोरता नहीं बरती जाएगी। और इसलिए इन कदमों का अल्टीमेट लाभ ईमानदार शक्तियों को बल मिलने वाला है।
The move got an instant support from the industry and India's business leaders. The international response too was positive, which saw it as a bold crackdown against corruption.
It was a necessary evil. It was a shock to the system. The system had got used to a certain level and a certain way of working, and this came like a bolt from the blue. I think the consequences of it were many, and the greatest consequence was that it brought some fear into people who had unaccounted wealth, and that has been proved because the new tax returns rose by about 33% the year which followed demonetization.
After the demonetization and the few months, like some industry, some small scale industry was severely impacted because these industries were driven by the cash scenario. So labor market was also impacted. There are some repercussions of the demonetization on industry scenario which are still there, and the results are still confusing, though the program is successful overall.
Even amid criticism and opposition's questions, the government stayed firm and steadfast. The move was the first in terms of a macroeconomic policy in recent times, which was aimed at cleaning the system. It was billed as the one to weed out black money, combat the circulation of fake Indian currency, and even fight the funding of terror and insurgency.
इसमें कहीं न कहीं मुझे लग रहा है कि लोगों में एक क्लीन सिस्टम की चाह बनी, ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लोग टैक्स नेटवर्क में आए और लोगों को करप्शन से डर नहीं लगने लगा। पहले क्या है, करप्शन रोकने की बात करते थे, बट किसके लिए करते थे? नेताओं के लिए करते थे, ब्यूरोक्रेसी के लिए करते थे। आम जनता करप्शन में भागीदार, एंटी करप्शन में भागीदार नहीं बनना चाहती थी। डिमोनेटाइजेशन मुझे लग रहा है कि एक बहुत लंबा मूव था, आगे तक दूरगामी सोच के साथ था, जिसमें इन्होंने करप्शन पे हर एक आम आदमी को इनको इंक्लूड करने की कोशिश की। मैं बताना चाहूँगा कि अगर आप डाटा देखें इनकम टैक्स फाइलर्स की, तो 2016-17 के जो नंबर ऑफ़ फाइलर्स हैं, जो अभी 31 मार्च तक के डाटा है, करीब 40 से 50 लाख लोग नए जुड़े हैं। जो पिछले फाइनेंशियल ईयर में जो 3.96 करोड़ लोग ही इनकम टैक्स फाइल करते थे, 130 करोड़ की जनता में, जहाँ हर हर शहर में आपको कारों की लंबी कतार दिख जाएगी। वहाँ केवल 2 या ढाई 3% लोग टैक्स फाइल करते थे। वो एकाएक वो नंबर बहुत ही ज़्यादा जंप मारा, तो वो डिमोनेटाइजेशन का इम्पैक्ट है।
One and a half years later, the move may still attract an odd debate. But it's in these hinterlands and even in many remote villages where the foundation of cashless economy is making a difference in the lives of people for good.
पहले सब हमने लोन लेते थे तभी इधर ऑफिस में जाना पड़ता था, वहाँ पे जाके वेट करना पड़ता था, बैंक में जाते थे, वहाँ पे वेट करते थे। अभी ऐसा नहीं है, हम लोग को सब बैंक के तरफ से कार्ड दिया है, वहाँ पे हमारे अकाउंट में पैसे जाते हैं, वहाँ से हम कार्ड से हम पैसे लेते, एटीएम से लेते, और हम कुछ भी लेना है तो और क्रेडिट कार्ड से लेते। सब हमको कार्ड मिला है, उसमें से बहुत उपयोग है, हम सब फ़ायदा करके ले रहे हैं सर। हमको टाइम बचता है और काम करने वाले हम उधर तक जाना आना सब तकलीफ होती है। अभी कार्ड दिया है, इसके लिए हमको बहुत फ़ायदा है सर उसमें से।
डिजिटल ट्रांजैक्शन कैसे करने का, बाद में स्वसहाय संघ में कैसे लोन लेने का, अब और बैंक व्यवहार कैसे चलाने का, वो सब के बारे में आज हम आपको ट्रेनिंग देंगे।
Like Shweta Chandra Gowda, a homemaker and a member of women's self-help groups, many women of this village in Karnataka's Chikmagalur is being trained by Dharamsthal, a religious institution, to exercise their independence by new means of economic soft power. RuPay debit cards, Bhim app, Jan Dhan account were among the tools of this financial independence.
At the hard level, sometimes the implementation becomes very, very problematic. But one thing is there that the reforms are positive and these are changing the mindset of the people. But going forward in the coming times, say after it will take time for the actual fruitful benefit at the ground level. But the mindset of the people and the positivity, like in a direction, is changing significantly.
Today, the DBT or direct benefit transfer is enabling the beneficiaries to get government subsidies directly in their Jan Dhan accounts.
डीबीटी जो डायरेक्ट बेनिफिट ट्रांसफ़र है, उसको सरकार ने 400 योजनाओं के साथ जोड़ने का प्रयास किया, जिससे सरकार का एक क्लेम है कि 56,000 करोड़ रुपए का लीकेज उन्होंने रोकने में सक्सेसफुल हुआ। मैं आपको बताता हूँ कि जो हम दिल्ली में देखते हैं गवर्नेंस, और जो एक बिहार के गांव या उत्तर प्रदेश के गांव या केरला के गांव में गवर्नेंस का मॉडल है, वो अलग अलग है। वहाँ बहुत सारे चैलेंजेस हैं। वहाँ मतलब जो पावरफुल लॉबी और एक वीकर सेक्शन या मार्जिनलाइज सेक्शन का जो गैप है वो बहुत ही ज़्यादा है। और मेरा ये मानना है डीबीटी आधार से लिंक करने के बाद और जो डीबीटी सीधा बैंक में ट्रांसफ़र करने के बाद बहुत सारे जो डबल काउंटिंग है, बहुत सारे जो मतलब जो जहाँ टारगेटेड बेनिफिट जहाँ जाना चाहिए था, जो लोग कहते हैं कि 100 रुपये दिल्ली से चलता है तो 15 पैसे ही गाँव पे, तो उस पर तो बाकी रोक लगेगी।
Over 31 crore Jan Dhan bank accounts have been opened by the government till date. They aim to make it even more, enabling to credit subsidies into the bank accounts directly. A significant step towards making India a cashless economy, something which even Prime Minister Modi has appealed on several occasions.
I think digitization is always good for the economy. It brings about transparency, it reduces transaction costs, and it is customer friendly. So I think I'm not saying that there will be no physical cash being transacted in the country. There is no country in the world which has no currency. But I think the percentage of the total transaction in India, there's a long wait for it to go up through digital payment gateways. And I think it's for the customer, it's always a good thing. It's more secure, there is less physical risk of carrying cash. And of course, it's the transaction costs have been quite aggressively cut in India, and it's been promoted aggressively by the government. So I think that's a good thing in the long run.
But the NDA government did not just stop at the demonetization. The goods and service tax, or the GST, was launched at the midnight on July 1st last year. Then President Pranab Mukherjee and Prime Minister Modi launched what is termed as the biggest tax reform since independence.
Launch the GST.
I would like to express my deep appreciation for all those who made tremendous efforts to make this path-breaking legislation.
It is the most significant economic reform in independent India. And basically what it means is that instead of having a plethora of taxes and varied taxes across different states, you now have a unified system of taxation, which is the, instead of sales tax and VAT, you have an integrated GST system across the country. So effectively the country becomes borderless. Otherwise every state was virtually a nation in taxation to itself.
Number one, there is a common market. Now all the rates across the states are uniform. If commodity A is rated at the rate of 5%, then state B, C or D or E also rates the 5% on the same rate, the same commodity. That is there, that the uniformity in the tax rates is there. That is a common market across the country. And second benefit is the simplicity of the taxation system. Earlier there were a lot of taxes, around 17 taxes, indirect taxes have been subsumed in the GST.
Members of both houses of parliament assembled at the magnificent central hall of the parliament to witness the history. The session was also attended by high-profile guests from business and the entertainment industry, including Ratan Tata.
As far as GST is concerned, undoubtedly GST is a good move, though it has got some glitches. But at a later stage, once the GST is stabilized, there will be win-win situation for both government and for the public as well.
जितने भी डेवलप्ड इकोनॉमी है उसमें इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स का शेयर ज़्यादा होता है. उससे क्या होता है, टैक्स बेस इंक्लूसिव होता है. आप अगर टूथपेस्ट खरीदते हो तो आपको टैक्स देना है. अब केवल पर्सनल इनकम पे या जो सैलरीड क्लास पे केवल टैक्स लेवी करके आपको कुछ नहीं मिलने वाला. आप इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स को स्ट्रांग बनाओगे, उसमें लीकेज को रोकोगे. तो जीएसटी इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स को स्ट्रांग करने का बहुत अच्छा मूव है.
I think GST will help in bringing more people into the tax net, and therefore there will be less generation of cash. So it is good and a very positive step for India. It's a step in the right direction.
Around, if some state is importing from the other state, the transaction cost was at around 6%. That was impacting the price cost margins of the producers. So now with the implementation of GST, this transaction cost is going to be zero or at a very minimum level.
And the results were immediately to be seen. The maiden GST revenue collection surpassed government's internal expectation of Rs 91,000 crore revenue and recorded tax collection of Rs 92,283 crore. The launch of GST kicked in the process to streamline the Indian business, the large chunk of what has remained informal, populated by small traders who existed outside the frame of tangible identities.
जैसे आप पहले कहीं छोले भटूरे की दुकान पे जाते थे, छोले भटूरे खाते थे, तो आप छोले भटूरे वाले को 40 रुपये दे देते थे. मान लिया वो पूरे दिन में 5,000 रुपये का व्यापार करता है और उसकी 1,000 रुपये की सेविंग होती थी. या 1,500 रुपये की सेविंग होती थी, तो करीब 45,000 रुपये पर मंथ वो कमाता था। बट वो कोई टैक्स नहीं देता था, ना पर्सनल जो इनकम टैक्स, पर्सनल इनकम टैक्स लगता था वो भी नहीं देता था, और जो जीएसटी वैट, जीएसटी तो उस टाइम नहीं थी, वैट और ये सब जो लगता था वो भी नहीं देता था। अब बड़ा सिंपल है, जब वो आटा खरीदेगा तो जीएसटी लेके खरीदेगा, मैदा खरीदेगा तो जीएसटी लेके खरीदेगा, छोले खरीदेगा तो जीएसटी लेके खरीदेगा, और वो आगे जब जीएसटी उसको इनपुट लेना होगा तो आगे भी उसका बिल काटना ही पड़ेगा। तो इससे क्या होगी कि ये इकोनॉमी फॉर्मल बनेगी, क्लीन बनेगी।
The paperwork, which was often riddled with leaks, fed corruption small routes to duck taxes, was to be checked by the GST regime.
In the previous regime, from the first stair to the cabin of the assessing officer, we were supposed to pay this much amount to this guy, to peon, to this and that, because of getting things done. Whereas under GST, everything will be done on computer. So you need to have a system with you, and if you are in system, then there is no problem. Of course, it will be a challenge for tax evaders. Now it will not be easy for the evasion of tax or evasion of transactions. Ultimately, everything will be under the scanner of the government.
Because GST is a very, very transparent system and there is no loophole. If some person is not registering with the GST, then he or she cannot trade. That is there. He or she will be out of business if they are not adopting the GST. That is there. There is no loophole. That's why there is no chance of any corruption.
Like Praveen Khandelwal, many traders are today filing their GST returns without standing in queues and with a click of a mouse. But the new system came with a new set of challenges. Everything has to be filed online through a government portal.
The small traders, they don't have technology. Still there are about 60% of the trading community across country, those who doesn't have computers. So it would be better on the part of the government that first we equip them with the system. Let us bring out a scheme, maybe under skill development or under any other scheme, that the people, those who doesn't have technology, we should align them with technology. And once they are aligned with the technology, we need to educate them how to use technology.
The filing procedures were quite complex, particularly for small industry. But I must compliment the government. The government in the first 4 months listened very carefully to industry, took the feedback of the users of GST, and they were quite willing and speedily redressing the issues that came up during the GST implementation. And I think they still have an open platform to receive inputs from various users of GST.
The GST is divided into 5 tax slabs for collection of taxes: 0%, 5%, 12%, 18% and 28%. Petroleum products and alcoholic drinks are kept outside the purview and are taxed separately by the individual state governments. The tax rates, rules and regulations are governed by GST Council, which comprises Union Finance Minister and Finance Minister of all the states. While it has been welcomed by the traders, they are also seeking government's help to simplify it further.
As the collections go up, I think the government will further ease the procedures and will further rationalize the tax rates. That's what they should do. As you saw, the 28% was significantly, the number of items that were in the 28% GST bracket was significantly cut once the government, within 4 months of the GST being launched. I think the slabs will be further rationalized downwards as the buoyancy of tax collection improves.
There are 5 slabs starting from 0%, 5%, 12%, 18% and 28%. A lot of slabs and rates are very, very high. Like 28% is the highest slab, which should not be that much high as compared with many economies like GST rates are not at this level that 28% is the highest rate, which provides lot of arbitration that to evade the taxes again. So to increase the tax base, there is a need to firstly to simplify the slabs. There should not be more than 2 or 3 slabs at the maximum.
In a pat on the back for government move, the collections for the goods and service tax crossed rupees 1 lakh crore mark in April this year, according to the data released by the Finance Ministry. The total revenue from the new indirect tax in the month of April was rupees 1,03,458 crore, the highest recorded in a single month since its implementation in July 2017. In a further good news, the GST returns rose from 57% for July 2017 to nearly 63% for March 2018. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley called this a landmark achievement and a confirmation of increased economic activity.
हर आदमी को अब फॉर्मल इकोनॉमी में आना पड़ेगा। वो जीएसटी के थ्रू भी है, डिमोनेटाइजेशन के थ्रू भी है। इन दोनों से एक फॉर्मल इकोनॉमी की तरफ पुश किया गया, जिसमें हर एक आम जनता जुड़ेगा, चाहे वो आप पेटीएम कर लो या यूपीआई कर लो, जो ये पेमेंट मेथड है, या आईएमपीएस आप देखो, ये सारे बहुत पुराने मेथड। आईएमपीएस बहुत पहले से था इस देश में, बट कोई यूज़ नहीं करना चाहता था। पेटीएम कोई पहली बात नहीं है, उससे पहले भी बहुत सारे और भी कंपनीज थी जो मोबाइल पेमेंट सिस्टम पे काम करती थी। बट डिजिटल जो डिमोनेटाइजेशन और जीएसटी आने के बाद ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लोग फॉर्मल इकोनॉमी में करेंगे। एक जो सही लेन देन हो रही थी, जिसमें छुपाना कम है, बताना ज़्यादा है, उसमें आप कुछ भी करें, आप जैसे पेटीएम से आप करोगे तो आपका रिकॉर्ड होगा। करप्शन से फाइट करने के जो बहुत सारे टेक्निक्स हैं, उसमें जो वर्ल्ड वाइड एक सक्सेसफुल टेक्निक माना जाता है वो इन्वॉल्विंग टेक्नोलॉजी है। और ये जो चाहे वो जीएसटी हो या डिमोनेटाइजेशन हो या जो डिजिटल पेमेंट सिस्टम हो, ये सब उसका एक पैरामीटर्स माना जाता है। इसके थ्रू ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा इकॉनमी फॉर्मल होगी, डिजिटलाइज होगी, और उसमें छुपाना मुश्किल पड़ जाएगा। हर एक आम आदमी को अब टैक्स फाइल करना, अगर आप पेटीएम 4 लाख रुपए का पर एनम आप यूज़ करते हैं तो आपको रिटर्न भी फाइल करना पड़ेगा।
The bold initiatives are now showing its results.
At the macro level, we are comfortable because we are looking very lucrative at the macro level. Our rankings in the global charts are also improving significantly during the last 3-4 years. But at the micro level, the results are not still that much significant. That needs to be addressed. I think that will take a lot of time to see the fruitful result at the ground level. But one positive thing is there, that the policy direction is in the positive and in the right trajectory.
The international agencies too have affirmed that Indian economy is gradually coming out of the temporary shock of demonetization and the GST, and look robust enough to grow at a rate over 7% in terms of the GDP.